sex educational content, fitness, health, nutrition, relationship advice, and more. Hi guys, and welcome to Gary Reviews and to this discussion about the future of 40k and how do we want this saga to end and continue in general. So guys, I wanted to talk about this for quite a while, and I just started a new book actually. I started listening to Eisenhorn. So I wanted to do that for quite a while, and I'm happy that I finally got to it. I just needed some new 40k in my life, and by new I just mean, it's an old novel, but to me it's new. So there's that. And since we don't have anything new after the Dark Imperium, well, I don't really have much choice. I have to continue with whatever novels I'm attracted to, basically. And Eisenhorn is one of these that I've been told are, must read. So, continuing from, the Dark Imperium and how it ended, knowing what happened there, and by the way, I did a review of all three books, we are now at the precipice, or in some kind of a tipping point, you can say, to the story, and who knows what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna tell you my take on it. And of course, you in the comments here in the live chat and in the comments of the video after it's published, after the stream ends, you can let me know. And actually, please let me know how you think that the 40k should end. But first, of course, how it should continue. So, first, hi to almost all my primarchs in the chat. Thank you very much for the feedback. I'm happy that everything is working. Imperator Dragomir Dimitrov. Oh, we won the saga without any Russians? Oh, come on. And stupid orcs, well, I don't think they're like the center part of it. Hi Dark. And thanks Jack Clayton for the feedback. Okay, so there's a few ways to look at this, how the 40k should continue. One way is to look at this from the point of the humans and what's gonna happen with the Emperor, which is what I'm mostly interested in. And the other is, of course, what is going to happen to the Eldar, what is going to happen to, yes, the orcs, and, what is going to happen to chaos, all the gods, all those things. It's just so open, and it's not only open, but there's a lot of things that are loose ends, and we have to see how those things continue, those storylines, those concepts, and all of that. But as for now, this stream and video is going to be focusing on the Emperor and Guilliman and how the story will continue. So guys, I also put a question into the community tab here on YouTube and on our Discord, Golden Astartes, which everyone is welcome to join. What is the next book after the Dark Imperium? What is the novel that will continue the story? And does anyone know? Because I went to the Warhammer community, I didn't really find any information. There was a lot of books that are announced coming, to Black Library, but some of these are old. I don't know which ones are like brand new. It's a bit confusing. So yeah, does anyone have any information what is the next book? Because these books are just so far between, so to speak. Oh, thank you, dear Ivy. And sorry about that. It's just that today I started very late, but before that I did a review of the new and the first episode of Interrogator. That is the noir animated show of Warhammer Plus, and you can see the review if you like it here on the channel. So guys, how do I see this? Well, I cannot guess, but I would tell you what I would like to see at least. So Guilliman now is set to be the guy that brings the Emperor back to life. He is the chosen one, he is the avenging son, he is the only primarch standing on the mountain, so to speak. And he's on this mission that he's not even sure what he has to do, but the Emperor knows, and he knows he has a plan actually, and it is heavily implied by the last book, or even overall by the 3 books, that the Emperor is preparing something. He had his priest Matthew that was absolutely convinced, of the Emperor's strength, purity, wisdom, overall power really. And Guilliman was the one that had to be convinced, because he's really not. He's actually a skeptic of his own father, and the only thing that he knows is that he has to be loyal to the Emperor and do his best for the Imperium. But he also see what the Emperor did that was flawed. He is trying to correct it. He has his own vision of how the Imperium should be ruled, and he is implying some changes the way that he sees them. He's also pretty much a lot more. What is the word for that? Not judgmental towards some of his subjects. There was a scene with one woman who was basically a heretic, but she had qualities to her, and that was just her opinion. She wasn't an enemy, she was serving him. And Guilliman was pretty tolerant, yes, the word is tolerant, and understanding towards her. So basically, as long as she is faithful to him and she's not like the literal enemy, she can have whatever opinion she wants to have about the Emperor. And Guilliman himself, he's full of doubt, and he's not sure which way things will go, and what exactly the Emperor wants. But after the amazing, absolutely amazing events of the last book and his fight with his brother, Mortarion, the fact that Mortarion pretty much killed Guilliman brutally, and the Emperor had to go in and do what he can, and bring up, literally and figuratively, bring up Guilliman and communicate with him. So Guilliman can see that the Emperor does have enormous amounts of strength still. He can actively interact with the physical and non-physical world to some capacity, and he was apparently building some kind of a strength, and he's been preparing for his arrival, and Guilliman is the key to this, because he's the only one that's left that's competent enough to do this. And he's loyal, although he doesn't understand everything that his father thinks, and everything that his father aims for. He is still dedicated to the cause, and he's just going forward and forward, which from one hand I admire his determination. From another hand, it's like, well, you're not actually that blind, Guilliman, and he realizes the shortcomings of what his father is doing and his methods and all that. He questions their morality at times, and that is great. I love that. I just love that. But also he is like, he doesn't want to really see things the way they are as well. So he's kind of like in a conflict with himself. So from here on out, what's going to happen, I think, is that Guilliman will be tasked to go and find some kind of an artifact that's going to be powerful enough to maybe create a new body for the Emperor, or totally regenerate his old one, and with the help of the might of the Emperor himself, maybe that's gonna be his sword. Wonder if it's his sword by any chance. And by the might of the Emperor himself, maybe he will be able to regenerate his power, but his body, but then he will need something else, and maybe, just maybe, if there's a resistance in the warp that is going to try to prevent his coming, his second coming, basically, he will have to. I mean, Guilliman will be tasked to deal with that as well. Who knows? Who knows? Because I don't think that Games Workshop wants to make the story very, very brief. They probably want to like stretch it out as much as they can. Yeah, so that's my like first suggestion of how the Emperor could be back. And on the question, will he be sorry, will will the Emperor be back even? I think he should, and I think that he would. If he doesn't, I just don't get it. I mean, Games Workshop, like, what are you doing? He has been on that golden throne, in the form of a skeleton for long enough, and if he returns, there's so many things that could happen that are going to be sorry guys, that are going to be extremely interesting. And so I don't think that the Games Workshop wants to miss on that opportunity. There's so many interesting storytelling that could be created here. The Emperor could go after the gods, and that's gonna be so interesting. There could be this epic saga, similar to the Horus Heresy, but even bigger, because now we have the Emperor. He is stronger. He actually did become a god in the meantime, which is also implied in those 3 books. Maybe even before that, I don't know. You have to let me know what I can also catch up with before these books, because before the Dark Imperium. So if there's something else there that might lead us to a clue what is going to follow even after the Dark Imperium, if that makes sense, that's gonna be useful to me. Yeah, if you can recommend, I'm here for that, guys. Maybe I really need like a chronological list of all the novels that came out, so I can start because right now I have my list for the Horus Heresy books, and Eisenhorn is like on the side, but I also need a list for the 40k books. So if anyone can recommend and give me some kind of an order which came out after what, I can go and start on these books as well. First, before I continue, let's see what Dark is saying. The Emperor gets off the throne to find the 4 Chaos Gods dead of the floor, and Saiphus, sorry if I didn't read that, Cain apologizing for the dead gods. I really not following Dark. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I mean, I have no idea who Saiphus is. I mean, even if I met him, so to speak, in the Dark Imperium books, I just don't remember right now. I'm not really good at names. So I might have, but I don't remember at the moment. I wouldn't say that's a good storyline, though. I mean, all the gods dead, that's gonna be super anticlimactic. Who would want that? I would personally want the Emperor to deal with them. I want also for him to be addressing his nature and why is he not the best person ever. I mean, for him to acknowledge in somehow, some way that there are some aspects that he's not that different from the Chaos Gods, the way that he's acting, that I talked about that many, many times. So it's not like he's hugely and vastly different from them. It seems like he's the opposite of them, but it's more like that he is this power that is so great that it's just capable of opposing them, but it's not exactly the opposite of them. It's just like an equal power to some extent. Is he powerful like as much as the the 4 main gods? No, I don't think so. But now, if he returns, he's going to be at least a god to some extent, and he will be able to compete with them on the power direct level more, I think. Okay, so after he comes back to life, let's say, he will bring back his primarchs that perished, or at least those that he can. Those that are demons, they're just remain demons, at least for the time being, but then there's a chance that the emperor can bring their souls from the warp and merge them with their bodies, cast out the demon, and thus get his original primarchs back, which is gonna be amazing. I would love to see that. We have to find Lehman Russ, I think, and Lyle and Johnson. Lion and Johnson. And also we have to find the Khan. And well, yeah, I also want to know what happened to Alfaris and Omegon. I mean, obviously one of them is dead, but it's not like 100% sure who. They can always like switch places. What happened to the other guy? I mean, there's so many unanswered questions about that, and there's this Eldar prophecy that we talked about many times, where they said if Horus wins, but Horus is completely dead, fully dead. But if Horus wins, he's gonna kill humanity, and the whole chaos gods, they're going to just fall apart and die. That was the prophecy. But if the emperor wins, chaos will win. So how is this changing if he's actually coming back and Horus is dead? Is he going to change something in his ways, knowing all of that that is prophesied, knowing that if he continues to feed chaos, through the way that he's ruling humanity, creating all of these negative ways of living, thinking, just mental adjustments. I don't know. I mean, that word expression now escapes me, but the mentality of people, like creating this dreadful mentality of even normal people in the 40k universe, in the whole imperium, creating a lot of food for chaos in so many different ways. And when he is leading his armies, and killing and bloodshed, all of that feeds corn, all those things. So he has to somehow address that and defeat chaos in the meantime, which I'm pretty sure there's a lot of thinking that has to be done, like in GW quarters, between all of the riders, so they can figure this out, because it's kind of complicated. It must somehow make sense in order for us to understand and invest in the story and to be compelling. So yeah, it is pretty important for them to get this right. If they just decide to kill off the emperor or something like that, that's gonna be like the easy way out to me. It's going to be super anticlimactic, super disappointing. Without the emperor to fascinate to fascinate me all the time, and in general to give some kind of a hope and life into the 40k universe. It's just not as interesting without him. He's like the pinnacle of the universe. He's the crown jewel, and you see how a leader can fall, make tons of mistakes, not admit those mistakes, and making an excuse for absolutely everything that he does, because he's the emperor. It's like, because I'm Batman. yeah, that is. Commissar. He's a commissar. Well, okay, there, but there's so many books. That's why I wanted to focus on the main ones. So yeah, guys, from the human side of things, maybe I can also do, for the Eldar, what I want to happen to the Eldar, what I want to happen to the Orcs, what I want to happen to, well, anyone really. Like, it's interesting if the Ketan can be reborn, the Tyranids, what's going to happen to them, because they are ever emerging threats as well. So the Emperor just is going to have so many things to do, but firstly he has to deal with chaos, and maybe then he has to deal with the Tyranids. Like, who do you think actually the Emperor should deal with first? Because it's a good question. If the Tyranids are closer and on his head, he should address that. But if they're not, and chaos will take advantage of every time that they have on their hands, which time for them is like non-existing concept, but to affect the emperor, they have to operate in some kind of a time, you know, time like earthly time to some extent, so they can have interaction with the physical world and actually do something to the emperor. Now he can also have the star child acting in the warp at the same time, if that is acknowledged, if that is, you know, canon. He can have some kind of a control of both up and down, whereas chaos, they don't actually have material bodies on Earth or on Terra, sorry, or any physical, you know, world. Anyway, they just have their demons and they can cross over. We also have this super awesome. Damn it, I forgot his name now. Oh, that knight that is so famous. Oh, what was his name? That knight that basically lives in a warp, the Grey Knight, and he kicks ass all the time. He's like immortal to this point. I mean, he can serve the Emperor there, kick ass there. In the meantime, the Emperor can come and go into the immaterium as he pleases. Anyways, yeah, I think that's gonna be very, very interesting. And Guilliman could become more powerful also as a second to the Emperor God. I think that's a pretty interesting, because if the Emperor himself becomes a god, then there was also a hint from that wise Eldar in the previous book or the second book. I think it was the third, but I'm not sure right now. If Guilliman actually becomes a god himself somehow, some way, then, you know, the Emperor can just take a few more primarchs, make them gods, in order for him to have his own little army to fight the chaos god. So that's gonna make even more sense, you know. And Gilliman does need an upgrade in order to fight his brothers, especially Mortarion, because he has this advantage being just a Primarch and being already resurrected like what, basically 2 times to this point. So I think it's gonna be super awesome if the Emperor makes his sons, or at least some of them, gods, so they can go and fight side by side with him. Chaos. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I love that idea. I just love when powerful main characters become more powerful, like that Super Saiyan Khan. I mean, the Super Saiyan. What was the word that I'm looking for? Eh, damn it! You know the powers, how they work in the Dragon Ball Z saga, and how one character is becoming more powerful. Like Sonic actually is becoming more powerful as well, but just staying like that and not going in and out of this state. Just be that, you know. So that is what I want to see. And then changing of the Imperium, getting the Inquisition to do something else. I mean, the Emperor will not be happy probably with them and how they rule. So a lot of changes could be made, but before that can happen, he should really clean house, you know, do whatever he can, and then maybe, just maybe, this could be about 10,000 years of a span. Once again, we can get 50k, where the Emperor and his primarchs are going to rule now. The chaos gods could be made like super small or insignificant, that they could make some schemes, but out of them another one will arise, let's say. They will all merge into one, uh, and it's gonna become like this huge great god entity that will go against the Emperor. It's gonna be so interesting. I mean, that is what I like to see. Yeah. And I'm just, you know, coming up with these things on the fly. So guys, this is what I have for now. um, I can talk a lot more about the human stuff, but this is like the gist of it, how I like to see things go. Now it's another topic how the Emperor's gonna be back, but like I've said, maybe if it has to do something with his sword or another super powerful artifact, if Rogo Dorn returns from somewhere bringing that artifact, and he has to meet with Guilliman. They have to like reunite, and Rogo has a new arm, and there could be so many interesting cool stuff going on. So I just cannot wait for continuation of the lore, because frankly, to wait for these novels and to know what happened next is pretty painful. I don't know, I never had to wait for anything in fantasy. Up till now, I always get to stuff when they're already written. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, guys. But let me know in the comments your concepts, your ideas, and your desires, basically, of how you want to see this universe continue. And let me know if you have any information about the next book that will continue the story. And Dark lastly says, the Emperor deal with chaos. I cannot read that. What's that? Chazgiko? And Necrons, the deal with Tyrannus, and the Elder can deal with Slanesh. If they can, I mean, they have also their other new god. How was her name? It was on the top of my head. But yeah, I totally forgot. I mean, they do have a chance to this point, the Eldar, but they also have to unite at least some of them that still are similar, because otherwise I don't know how they're going to defeat Slanesh. But there's Yanit, yeah, damn it, names. And the Necrons, they can also do something. So it's interesting how the universe, the story is going to continue with also the Necrons as well. So yeah, we have food for thought. The Orc War boss. Yeah, well, the name I guess is speaking for itself. So guys, have a great end of the week. It's Easter in Bulgaria on Sunday, so probably not going to be here. And also Saturday, I'm just letting you know, because I'm going to paint eggs and just preparing for Sunday in general. OnlyFans content is going to come tomorrow. I have to make that tomorrow instead of the weekend. So yeah, guys, anything else, I can still be here tomorrow though if I finish early enough. And then on Friday, still here if everything is okay. But yeah, see you soon. Have a great Easter if you don't, for some reason, see each other. And yeah, love you guys. Bye bye.